Hey, welcome viewers to Food News and Shoes. Jeremy, what are we up to today as we start the new year?
Today we're at Crossfit Maximus down on National Avenue. They also have one on Palumbo Drive. It's this new form of fitness and it's really effective. Great for the new year if you want some resolutions. We're going to be talking about genetically modified foods, particularly salmon, and what's happening in that controversial stuff. Also, I got a healthy recipe for you on Food News and Shoes.
There we go.
Welcome to Kentucky's largest commercial restaurant equipment and supplies store. SeaWorld Superstore is a 15,000 square foot chef's treasure chest.
SeaWorld Superstore is the store for those in the restaurant industry, churches, and catering. Find chefware, large equipment, refrigeration unit, about anything needed for a volume event. SeaWorld Superstore, in business since 1954, offering free local delivery, so come on in and get hooked immediately.
And a complete line of chef apparel. SeaWorld Superstore, located at 1403 Versailles Road and SeaWorldSuperstore.com.
Why do chefs choose Lyons Farm beef?
When I get things in the kitchen, I can tell like right off the bat. After I get done searing it or put it on the grill or roasting it or baking it or frying it or whatever I'm going to do, the second I cut into that thing, whether it's the resistance on the fork or just the way it kind of slides across the knife, it's got to be right on from the get-go. And it seems like this beef does that every single time.
Lyons Farm beef, available at Critchfield Meats and LyonsFarm.com.
CrossFit is about teaching people how to move, about movement patterns that are essential to life, essential to your well-being, to your independence. CrossFit is constantly varied, high-intensity functional movement. That is, moving large loads, long distance, and quickly. We all do the same thing: squatting, deadlifting, jump, run, throw, pull up. These are all natural movements.
What I thought I couldn't do before, I can actually do.
And every aspect of your being is going to change. You're going to get stronger, you're going to get more flexible, your confidence is going to rise significantly.
I feel awesome. Haven't felt like I wanted to look in the mirror probably in 40 years.
We're setting up patterns for success across all of life. And the last guy or the last gal through the door is cheered like a hero.
Join CrossFit Maximus today. Call 859-317-9568.
Today's shoppers are informed. When shopping for the family meal, today's shopper chooses Critchfield Meats for fresh, all-natural quality meats, guaranteed. Make the right choice and visit our family before you feed yours. Critchfield Meats, the meat specialist, family owned and operated since 1969. That's a great A choice, folks.
Here's a way to give 2 holiday gifts for the price of 1. Serve food that's prepared with ingredients made or grown in Kentucky. We call it Kentucky Proud, and that's your assurance of quality. When you buy Kentucky Proud, you also brighten the holidays for a Kentucky farm family. Find gift and recipe ideas at KentuckyProud.com. Kentucky Proud is funded in part by the Kentucky Agricultural Development Fund and is a program of the Kentucky Department of Agriculture. James R. Comer, Commissioner.
Hey, Jeremy.
Yeah.
What does this remind you of? Who?
I'm not going to say anything.
Matt's going to turn me into Jane Fonda yet. Yeah. Okay?
You know, I hope that, if it's Jane Fonda we're talking about, I hope that we haven't been to the gym since that stuff went out of style, right? That'd be like the early 80s.
Hair's a little different. That's about all.
That's right. So what are we talking about today, Sylvia? What food news is up?
We decided, you and I had high-level meetings and conversations on Food News and Shoes.
Yes.
And we decided to focus on one issue today.
That's right.
Because it's a big issue, and it's about genetically modified organisms.
That's right.
And we've done some stuff on this before, like, crops and all of that kind of stuff where, you know, the Roundup, Monsanto's Roundup and such. But
Yeah.
now it's changed, Jeremy.
Well, you know, what's going on to be, I think would be a good New Year's resolution to have, say, things like Prop 37 enact, where the GMOs are labeled, for instance. But, you know, we're talking about the GMOs, a genetically modified organism. And a lot of times, you know, that kind of agricultural science is a good thing. You know, if you do selective breeding of plants, then you have plants that have desired characteristics, like a tomato that might, you know, taste better.
Well, we all like tomatoes in January, don't we?
That's right. Well,
and
see,
yet,
a lot of
that
times
doesn't come cheap.
they end up taking other organisms and splicing it with, say, a tomato to make that the shell or the actual skin tougher. So they're not breeding it for flavor; they're kind of mixing in other stuff, and that gets a little bit scary. We call that frankenfood.
Yeah, frankenfood.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, there are other issues out there, like, for instance, how are we going to feed, 9 billion people in the year 2050?
Right.
Unless you do mass production. It tends to favor larger operations than small and local, which is sort of what we're into, isn't it?
And the whole problem is it's a larger operation, and nature particularly doesn't like those monolithic kind of societies where you've got acres and acres of one crop. It seems that in order to do that, you have to have pesticides, you have to genetically modify it so it can grow or be more resistant towards disease, and nature doesn't particularly like that. So we're messing with our food. I think we're starting to see the effects over the past 40 years on our population,
but there could be
right?
advantages. Okay, but let's talk about the latest news. Latest news is that they have developed through GMOs, and what is that? That's where they splice in, it's like science, I don't know what I'm talking
anytime
about.
you modify the genetics of an organism is a GMO. And it could be just, you know, like we said, some types of GMOs I don't really think are bad. That's me giving a personal opinion. If you're trying to get two good desired results together, just like,
tomatoes
you have tomatoes in your garden and they, you know, happen to cross-pollinate and produce a hybrid. That's where we get heirloom tomatoes. Those are fine.
But we may have crossed a line. Because what's happening now is they have developed a salmon. FDA is on the verge of approving this. It's the first time in an animal that will be eaten by humans that has been genetically modified.
That's right.
And that is the great food for the new year, which is salmon.
So instead of plants and animals, we're talking about also meat and fish.
Yeah.
And it gets a little bit scary.
Okay, Jeremy.
Yes.
Hold up the genetically modified salmon.
This is a salmon.
It's 2 days old.
2 days. No, this would actually probably be...
This is a normal salmon size.
Well, when they're born, it's one fish versus another fish. But either way, they're growing about 3 times as fast now in a farm-raised environment.
Twice as fast. And we're going to be eating these creatures.
Right, and it just depends on how you really feel about that. These genes are spliced to where they grow faster, you can eat them quicker. But, you know, it may be good to feed the world that way. But
actually, we were lying. That is actually a salmon that is fully grown. They haven't
that's
approved this yet, but we were having fun with it. The other issue, Jeremy, are crops.
Right.
And organic versus conventionally grown crops. And there's a huge battle going on out there where basically the bugs are outsmarting these, you know, they're giant fields of corn and soybean in the Midwest. And the bugs are getting better at understanding pesticides, so they're having to do stronger ones in order to create more food.
So we're changing the food, and then the bugs and other predators are changing the way they do business. So.
Yeah, and there was a great series called The Vanishing Prairie, which is an issue on GMOs and how, you know, and the organic farmers are saying that the pesticides are coming onto their farms.
Yes.
Because if they're side by side, how can you deal with that? That's pretty interesting.
Right.
But we're going to find out about all of that and more, and we're in such a great facility here, and we're going to be talking to Matt Sharp, who is an owner of this great place, and maybe he'll even let us use his fun truck. Remember, we couldn't get a van for the other show that we had.
That's right.
So we finally decided just to let that go. But we're going to be talking to Matt Sharp, who is with Crossfit Maximus and 2 locations, and he's going to get me fit for the new year. Good luck, Matt.
A European experience without leaving Lexington at Azure Restaurant and Patio. For lunch or dinner, enjoy excellent service and truly unique cuisine that will delight your senses. Unwind with award-winning cocktails or conduct business over a memorable meal. Every occasion is special at Azure Restaurant and Patio, located off Harrisburg Road in the Beaumont Center.
Jeremy, the restaurant startup business is challenging. We should know.
That's right. In business since 1954, Seaworth Superstore is the place to begin. Reconditioned equipment and the lease-to-purchase program can get you in and going in no time.
Seaworth, with its dedicated staff, can help you plan with CAD services that provide a successful layout.
Dan and his team will help you fill in the blanks with everything from soft drink machines to exhaust hoods. Come to Seaworth Superstore and make your dreams come true.
Located at 1403 Versailles Road and SeaworthSuperstore.com.
Here's a way to give 2 holiday gifts for the price of 1. Serve food that's prepared with ingredients made or grown in Kentucky. We call it Kentucky Proud, and that's your assurance of quality. When you buy Kentucky Proud, you also brighten the holidays for a Kentucky farm family. Find gift and recipe ideas at KentuckyProud.com. Kentucky Proud is funded in part by the Kentucky Agricultural Development Fund and is a program of the Kentucky Department of Agriculture. James R. Comer, Commissioner.
Advertise your product or service on shows like this one. Contact Media 7 Broadcasting today. Call 859-317-4565 or email sales@m7bg.com. Reach potential new customers in the Louisville, Lexington, and other central Kentucky areas. Get your new ad produced for free by Media 7's audio and video professionals. Call 859-317-4565 today and let Media 7 create a marketing plan for you.
CrossFit is about teaching people how to move. About movement patterns that are essential to life, essential to your well-being, to your independence. CrossFit is constantly varied, high-intensity functional movement. That is, moving large loads, long distance, and quickly. We all do the same things: squatting, deadlifting, jump, run, throw, pull up. These are all natural movements.
What I thought I couldn't do before, I can actually do.
And every aspect of your being is going to change. You're going to get stronger, you're going to get more flexible, your confidence is going to rise significantly.
I feel awesome. Haven't felt like I wanted to look in the mirror probably in 40 years.
We're setting up patterns for success across all of life. And the last guy or the last gal through the door is cheered like a hero.
Join CrossFit Maximus today. Call 859-317-9568.
Welcome back, viewers, to Food News and Chews. We're here in this great, glorious facility, Crossfit Maximus. And you've got a challenge on your hands.
We're going to get you in shape.
Okay,
Good.
all right, in just this segment. No.
What a challenge, too, right?
We'll get started. We'll get started.
Yeah. Hey, can I touch those? Man, this guy's got muscles.
Well, guys, I got manager Nathan Spitz here with us, and he's going to talk to us about CrossFit. Also, Sylvia, who's your guest?
Yeah, it's Matt Sharp.
How are you
Matt
guys?
Sharp. He's going to be real sharp if he can put me into shape. And I tell you, I'm so intrigued by this. Matt, tell us about this place. This is awesome.
So this is our second location. We have a location on Palumbo that's done really well, and we've grown from a small community to a bigger community, and we basically are outgrowing our space. So our second group of members are from this area, like our second largest group. So we're kind of going to them with our second location, and we've opened this up a few weeks ago, and we're just getting started, kind of getting everything going here now.
What's the background on this type of fitness? How did this get started? Because this is a fabulous gym, and I think it's becoming more and more popular across the nation. What's the general birth of it?
There's definitely kind of a vision now for fitness that's going back to some old school methods. And CrossFit, although people are just now hearing about it, it's actually been around for over 10 years. It started out in San Diego by a guy named Greg Glassman. He designed the program for police department out there. And it was very popular, and they had great success with it. And what tends to happen when someone has success in a fitness program is they tell everyone.
Yeah.
And it has just kind of grown organically over the years. And just to tell you about the growth, when we got started, there was around 700 CrossFits in the world, and that was 3 or 4 years ago, and now there's over 5,000.
Yeah, that's an explosion.
Awesome.
Yes.
Nathan, what's your role here? You're the manager, right?
I'm the manager.
You run this place.
Yeah, I run the place.
And not to be confused with Mark Spitz, but I mean, you can.
Yeah,
he's got
no relation. No relation. So I take care of the day-to-day activities that go on here. I make sure that the classes run smoothly, coaches show up on time, and field people who walk in and want to know about our business and what we do here.
Well, this is a great form of fitness, and I think a lot of people hear about CrossFit and they know that there's going to be a challenge. How do you guys get people implemented into this program?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, a lot of people who know about CrossFit, they say, oh man, it's so intense, I could never do that.
Right.
But what we've done here is we've created a 4-week on-ramp program called the Academy. And it takes you through the foundational movements, it teaches you how to perform the movements safely, and you find your own baseline of fitness. So you know when you get into the regular CrossFit classes where you stand and what you need to be doing to increase your fitness.
So instead of like, people tend to exercise in silos. This really is cross, and that is a very important word here. And you have 3 things, and I wanted you to get to constantly varied, high intensity, and functional movement are your 3 things that you really aim
so the constantly varied is really a byproduct of the body adapts so quickly, and also you just get bored doing the same stuff. So when you come in here, every day is going to be a different workout. Okay. We rarely repeat workouts, and if we do, it's usually just a test to show you how much better you are than the last time you performed it. But it is always changing. The workouts are always challenging. There's hundreds of movements that you learn. You never get tired of it.
Yeah.
And all of the movements are...
And high intensity and functional.
Yes.
High intensity...
So high intensity is relative.
Neck popping.
Not neck popping. Intensity is really relative. It just depends on if we tell you to run a mile and you take off sprinting, it's going to be really tough. But if you walk it, it's not as tough. But it's still just a mile workout. So intensity is relative.
And functional. You said it's like working on the farm 100 years ago. That's what really kept people fit.
All of these movements, all of these movements mimic real life movements. And the program is designed to make you better at real life. And if something doesn't mimic or help you in real life, then we will not add that to our program.
You're going to show us those things. You're going to actually take us on. Challenge.
You guys are going to do some stuff.
It sounds like an all-natural form of fitness.
Let's go over there and find out.
Okay, so this is the rower. We use these for conditioning, mainly in our workouts for conditioning. It's not a huge component of what we do here, but it is definitely a component that we like to use for conditioning. So as I told you before, let's just do a few here. So you're going to push with your legs, keep these straight, a little bit of a lean, and
start with
the
just
pull.
your legs. You're already ahead of the game.
Finish the pull with your arms. There you go. Yeah. And as you feel more comfortable, you can pull a little bit harder.
But
we're really looking for
a little deeper.
Ease it back. Long pull.
Look, Mom.
Ease it back.
Wow, really
Drive
good
those
work.
legs, Sylvia.
Hey, Jeremy, where are the goldfish?
You ready to eat for them?
They're at the finish line. If you
have to
row
wait
hard
till
enough,
after.
if you row hard enough, it will move.
Hey, talk to us a bit about nutrition and how it relates in your interest in food.
Yeah, is this going to get me in shape?
Yeah. Jeremy, take notes.
It will help, but we hammer nutrition, so it's such a vital part of success for a fitness program and just general health. So especially in our on-ramp program, we really, really hammer the nutrition. And it's not super complicated.
Yeah.
It's actually very simple. Just nobody wants to do it. So in CrossFit, everybody does a pull-up.
Yeah.
And it's an essential life movement for you to be able to pull yourself up or pull yourself over things, and it's much better for you.
If you fall off a cliff, you be able to save yourself,
hey, let's set the record straight. Right now, I just did a pull-up.
She did like 50 pull-ups.
All right,
one arm.
40, but
with one arm.
Split hairs.
I'm catching on fast.
So instead of starting people out dead on just doing a dead pull-up, you've got, what is this thing?
So this is basically a giant rubber band.
Nice.
It's called a resistance band.
It will allow you to come in at your level and do the pull-up that you can do when you start.
Right.
And over time, these get smaller and smaller and smaller, and eventually they'll disappear, and you're pulling up your own body weight. And that will happen as you get stronger and you increase your nutrition and you lose the weight.
Stay tuned for my fitness.
So the way this works is you're going to put your foot through there.
Tell us about, while you're doing all of that and describing this,
Okay.
talk about your memberships and how people can get involved in doing CrossFit.
Yeah, so it's not a traditional membership here. You pay for a training package. So it's all group classes. So if you can only get here 3 days a week, we have a package for that, and you buy a 3-day-a-week package. So we have 2-day, 3-day.
So it's not like a traditional membership where
it
you
is
just
not
come
like
in
a
on your
traditional
own
membership.
and stuff.
No,
every time you come here,
a coach is putting you through a workout. Like you're getting instruction from somebody on what you're doing.
And you mentioned the 4-week academy, where
That's right.
you do sort of almost an assessment of where somebody is, and like, I had a broken leg, I could come in and you would like work with me individually.
We would modify the workouts for you to fit your needs.
The academy is critical for people to come into this program because we really invest a lot into new people. Like, we want them to be here for 2, 4, 6, 8 years. We don't want them to here for a New Year's resolution and we lose them.
Right.
And the way we do that is through the academy. So during the academy, everybody over 30 has something wrong with them, like a hip, a knee, or ankle. So what we do during the academy is we teach you all these movements.
Amen.
And how to modify those movements based upon
You're over
your
30.
particular
You
interest.
join the crowd.
That's right.
All right, Jeremy, perform.
Something hurts, I'm sure, on somewhere.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is a pull-up, and one of the ways we do this is the band. And
Right.
when he pops off, that band will help him pull up, so go ahead.
Chin over the bar.
Chin over the bar.
10 right there.
There's
There
10.
you go. So put this foot back.
Now,
So
with our memberships, we also offer discounts for teachers, students, military, firemen, and police officers.
How about old Jane Fonda's?
Well, we might be working on that.
All right.
Might be working on that.
Well, you've been listening, and this has been great. Thank you, Matt. And
Thanks
thank
a lot,
you,
guys.
Nathan.
Thank you all.
And thank you, Jeremy, for performing for
Well,
us.
sure.
And
That was
we'll
fun.
be right back after this break.
CrossFit is about teaching people how to move. About movement patterns that are essential to life, essential to your well-being, to your independence. CrossFit is constantly varied, high-intensity functional movement. That is, moving large loads, long distance, and quickly. We all do the same things: squatting, deadlifting, jump, run, throw, pull up. These are all natural movements.
What I thought I couldn't do before, I can actually do.
And every aspect of your being is going to change. You're going to get stronger, you're going to get more flexible, your confidence is going to rise significantly.
I feel awesome. Never haven't felt like I wanted to look in the mirror probably in 40 years.
We're setting up patterns for success across all of life. And the last guy or the last gal through the door is cheered like a hero.
Join CrossFit Maximus today. Call 859-317-9568.
Why do chefs choose Lions Farm beef?
It's consistent, it's delicious, it's got great tenderness, and it's really good for you. This nutritional element of making healthy animals for healthy eating is a big component about why their beef is so delicious. I feel so lucky to be a chef in Kentucky because the best way to express care for someone is to make them something to eat, and I get to do that every single day.
Lions Farm beef, available at Critchfield Meats and lionsfarm.com.
Here's a way to give 2 holiday gifts for the price of 1. Serve food that's prepared with ingredients made or grown in Kentucky. We call it Kentucky Proud, and that's your assurance of quality. When you buy Kentucky Proud, you also brighten the holidays for a Kentucky farm family. Find gift and recipe ideas at KentuckyProud.com. Kentucky Proud is funded in part by the Kentucky Agricultural Development Fund and is a program of the Kentucky Department of Agriculture. James R. Comer, Commissioner.
Hey, welcome back to Food News and Chews. As you've heard already, Jeremy says we have to start being healthy.
That's right. It's the first of the year where
chocolate
everybody wants to
away.
trim down the waistline and get things back in shape, right?
Hey.
Yes.
I brought a visual for you today. I want you to make me look like this.
You know what? And
by March.
I can do it.
With your healthy food, okay?
I've got a great kind of superfood recipe that kind of utilizes some of the leftover ingredients from Christmas dinner, too. And some tough stuff that's in season. Right, so what we're going to do is our cranberry crusted or baked fish with almonds and a little bit of Swiss chard.
Yeah.
And in order to do this, it's really simple. You can feed probably 10 or 12 people if you want in about 30 minutes. It's quick, it's easy, plus utilize leftovers. First thing I like to do, potatoes too. Nice visual placement too.
Yeah.
So I'm going to make a little pixie dust here, and I call it a fish spice or a lobster spice. A little dry mustard. Then I use a little bit of fennel.
That is a beautiful salmon, by the way.
Lots of good kosher salt.
Salmon's good, right?
Oh, it's
All
great
that,
for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then paprika. And then I've got a little bit of dry ginger. And this is a quick, simple little thing I use on a lot of fish at the restaurant and at my house as well. So here's a little magic dust we're going to put all over this salmon.
Yeah.
So Sylvia, you want to sprinkle that all over?
You trust me so much.
I know.
But I'm really motivated. I'm really motivated to look like this by March.
This
okay?
dish is going to do it. Okay. So in the meantime, I've got some Swiss chard, which is a great superfood. It grows locally, and through the winter months, you can get a hold of it no problem. I like to do what's called a chiffonade. What's that now?
I use all of this?
No, that's enough.
Oh.
So I like to do what is called a chiffonade, which is a very, very small, tiny little feathery cut. So you can see how it's kind of making
I would
these.
cut my finger off if I tried that.
Well,
it must be like
we'll
a
leave the
skill.
knife part to me, but you can do the sprinkling part, right?
I can handle that.
That's right. So we're going to do these ribbon cuts of the Swiss
and
chard.
again, this is Swiss chard, but you have two different colors, but where do people
This is
find
called
this?
rainbow chard. You can buy this locally now. It goes into the winter months and grows, but people have greenhouses here in Kentucky too. So it's great, it's good for you, and it's really interesting to see it go on top of a piece of fish.
Yeah.
People don't do that.
Yeah.
So remember that, you know, the cranberry sauce
into this.
onto the Christmas dinner
I
or
remember
actually
that.
Thanksgiving dinner.
You
It's
did a
always the
lot.
leftover, right?
And what's in there?
This is just the cranberry sauce from your Christmas
but you
dinner.
can actually mix other stuff in, right?
Yeah, sometimes I put orange juice in it, maybe
Yeah,
even
you've
some
done
bourbon,
that
whatever you
before.
want to do. So spread this on the fish,
I can drink bourbon and still look like this in March?
just a little bit.
How about
So,
wine?
Lots of wine, right?
Yeah, lots of it.
So spread the cranberry onto the fish,
Okay.
which you see. You get a nice coating everywhere. So this bakes on, it creates a nice little, you know, moist coating. It's a little bit sweet. Now the Swiss chard I'm putting into a mixing bowl with some almonds.
Oh,
And almonds are great for you.
So you mix those
From the
up.
race line, yep. I'm going to add a little bit of little white balsamic vinegar just to dress it, and a little bit of olive oil. Actually, a lot of bit of olive oil.
I can do that too and still look like this?
Just a touch more of your fish spice.
Okay.
We'll mix that up just a little bit. If you notice
How pretty.
how pretty
you
it
gotta
is.
see how pretty this is. Can they see this if I tip this over?
Very nice. So we're going to spread
And
this
it smells so good.
on top of the fish into a nice
You
little
notice he
pattern
took
here.
my job away from me. He said I didn't do a good enough
I'm just
job.
trying to steal the camera here, right?
Yeah, right. Well,
Anyway, almonds on
people
top.
are still looking at me and my voluptuous
So
outline.
there you go. In about, 3 minutes, you've got this ready to go in the oven. It goes in at 400 for about
Okay.
12 minutes, and then
Ooh,
you're
it looks
ready
so
to serve
pretty.
about 5 people here.
Yeah.
Do 2 or 3 more, you can serve a feast.
Oh,
All right. Salmon's
get
come
me a
through.
fork.
The chard is slightly wilted. That thing's awesome.
Oh, man.
So now that you got your platter out, and you know, it's already got a vegetable on there and some nuts. So I mean, if you want to do a little roasted potatoes, now you're not going to be in that figure if you keep eating Christmas cookies into the new year, right?
I just can't let it go, Jeremy. But you know what? This looks so good.
It is. It's
Then I'm going to put my little
fantastic.
friends down and my cookie down.
Right.
Now I'm going to dive in to this.
That's right. Let me see if I can get it onto the platter, which is going to be very difficult after
Oh,
I destroy
look
it.
at that flaky stuff.
Right. So
Oh,
typically,
can I help?
No, we just actually I like to cut this one in half.
That means it's just like perfectly
Yeah,
cooked,
it's
right?
nicely cooked.
Oh, that is sweet. And the pretty presentation, remember all of that, folks.
That's right.
And the recipe, we're going to post that recipe.
Yeah, we'll get that posted online, even though it's really simple to do. And I want you guys to cook at home without recipes, just kind of learn these techniques and ideas and go with it.
Yeah, it's
But
more about that, isn't it?
right.
I mean, you can
This
like
is all
do a
set
lot
to
of
go.
mixing. Wow. It's
So-
like a salmon sandwich because you got the
That's
stuff
right.
in the middle too.
But it's great, you know, just put this on the table and everybody fork some off and it's great to go, ready to go.
That is
Or do
fabulous.
2 or 3 sides and feed an army.
It's wonderful. Hey, we're going to be back next week with Food News and Chews, and we've just had a great time getting healthy. Remember, Jeremy, put this in your head.
I will, keep eating this and you'll get there.
See you next week.